Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the Men Save Your Marriage show. My name is Terry. I'm your host. I did an autopsy on my failed marriage, and now I use the lessons that I learned to coach other men on how to save their marriage before it fails. I'm going to share with you the things I wish someone would have shared with me before my marriage failed. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome in. You just heard the bell. That means it's time for us to go to battle, and we are in the ring. We are here to fight, not each other, but you and I are in the same corner. We're here to fight for your marriage. Welcome back, guys. This is the Men Save Your Marriage show. As you know, my name is Terry, and we are up to episode number 40, big 40. We are continuing in the Rebuilding Intimacy and Emotional Connection series, and today we are talking about perseverance. Everybody's favorite word, getting things done day in and day out. And we're going to talk about it specifically in terms of your marriage and why the wife you love in the marriage you are working so hard to save is testing your consistency and your perseverance. So we are off to the races, and we're going to begin by getting real honest as we talk about perseverance in your marriage. So again, let's just get real honest, shall we? You started changing. You're showing up differently. You're working on yourself. You're leading with calm instead of chaos, but she still seems cold to you. She's not meeting your efforts. She's certainly not responding the way you had hoped, and now you're wondering, what's the point? Well, you feel stuck in a one-sided battle for your marriage. And maybe, just maybe, right now you're tempted to give up. Let me stop you right there. This moment right now, where it feels thankless and lonely and unfair, guys, this is the test. This is where a lot of men who think they're men, but maybe they're boys, quit. And real men who are genuinely making a change in themselves, this is where they rise. See, she's not just watching your effort. She's watching your consistency. She's watching to see if you're serious or just sprinting through another short-lived change. And today, in this episode, I'm going to show you exactly why her heart isn't softening yet, how to pass the test that she's giving you without even realizing it, and how perseverance, yes, perseverance, is your greatest weapon when nothing else seems to work. So if you're ready, we're going to get into it. As always, I got 3 points for you guys. So buckle up and let's go. Point number one, she's not ignoring you. She's testing you. Here's the brutal truth that most men don't want to hear. Every man who's ever said, I'll change, also made promises he didn't keep. This is where you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror, guys, and be honest with yourself here. She's heard it all before. She's seen the nice guy act. She's watched the short bursts of effort, the flowers, the dates, the apologetic text, followed by the return to the old habits and the old ways. So now she's not responding to your new behavior. But she doesn't know that this is a genuine change. The only way she knows is to test it. Why is she not responding? Because she doesn't believe it yet. Not because she's stubborn, not because she's mean, but because she's protecting herself from the crash if you quit again. She's watching for patterns, not promises. She's measuring consistency, not intensity. So if you're serious about winning her trust back, you better be in it for the long haul. See, most men quit right before the breakthrough. This is where good men lose the battle. They make real changes. They expect a quick response. They don't get it, they get frustrated, and they slip back into old patterns. I would say raise your hands if that sounds like you, but I know, at least for me, every one of us would be raising our hands, and I'd be raising both of mine. You see that right there? The old patterns, that's when she says, see, nothing really changed. You think the silence means it's not working, but here's what you don't see. Every time you stay calm, she's taking a mental note of that. Every time you don't blow up when she's cold, she's watching. Every time you validate her, even when she doesn't validate you, her defenses weaken a little more. This is a war of attrition, not a sprint, not a hallmark moment in a movie. This is a war of attrition. You are proving day by day that you are no longer the man she had to protect herself from. This is why, gentlemen, I have always emphasized you have to reach a place where you're doing this for yourself. Well, for her too, and to save your marriage. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror. You have to do this for you so that it becomes a long-term, permanent change. And if you quit now, you prove her right. But if you stay the course, you prove yourself to be real. See, you lead because it's who you are, not to get applause. This is where you graduate from trying hard to becoming a real man that's doing it for himself. You stop doing things to get a reaction. You stop asking, is this working? You stop keeping score, all the things that we've all done before, and you start becoming the kind of man who shows up with integrity regardless of the outcome. The kind of man who leads with maturity even when unrecognized. Or the kind of man who loves without needing immediate love in return. You don't lead for applause. You lead because that's who you are now. This isn't about her anymore. It's about you becoming the man you were always meant to be. I'm going to say that again. This isn't about her anymore. This is when it's real, because it's about you becoming the man you were always meant to be. And when she finally realizes this isn't a phase, that's when her heart starts to come back. But you don't wait for that. You lead anyway. Point number 2, her guard is a survival mechanism, not a personal attack, and that's important for us to understand that. I know how easy it is to take her distance as rejection. You're giving everything you've got, and she's giving you, well, what feels like nothing. But listen to me clearly. Her coldness isn't cruelty. It is self-defense. Her silence isn't spite. It is a shield. She's not attacking you. She's trying to survive the wreckage of what the marriage became before you woke up. If there were years where she didn't feel emotionally safe, where she felt alone, dismissed, criticized, or neglected, she built armor. She had to protect herself. That armor doesn't come off overnight just because you had an epiphany. She wants to believe the change is real in you. She wants to lean in again to the relationship. And she certainly wants to hope again in the marriage. But hope hurts when it's crushed or when it's been crushed before. So what do? Here's what you do. You do what you say you'll do. You speak gently when she's upset. You give her space without punishment. You stay consistent even when she's cold. Those 4 things right there, gentlemen, are an absolute must. Again, you do what you say you'll do. You speak gently when she's upset. You give her space without punishment. And you stay consistent even when she's cold. She's not asking you to be perfect. She's asking, can I trust you to not hurt me again? That's the question your actions are answering every single day. So let's talk about pressure. It breaks the process, but she'll believe it when you don't break. You might not even realize you're doing it, but sometimes your need for reassurance is what breaks the process. You ask, did you notice I've been trying? Why don't you trust me yet? I'm doing everything right. Why don't you appreciate it? And I understand you feel the need to ask those things. You want to be reassured that you're headed in the right direction. Fellas out here, we go it alone, and you don't get to ask those questions. You need to let her rebuild trust on her timeline, not yours. So take the pressure off. Instead, focus on who you're becoming, not what you're getting. That's what creates emotional space for her healing. Here's something wild you might not expect. Sometimes the moment she starts to believe in you is the moment she pushes back the hardest. She sees you showing up. She sees the consistency, and part of her begins to hope, and that hope terrifies her. So she'll say something cruel. She'll shut down. She'll test the boundary again. And why? Because if you break under pressure, she'll know it was all a phase. But if you stay calm, if you stay kind, if you stay rooted, she'll feel it deep in her bones. And she's thinking things like, he's not reacting. He's not folding. He's not going anywhere. That's the moment she starts to feel safe again. And I know it's counterintuitive but it is real. So don't flinch when the resistance spikes. It's often the final gate before the breakthrough. Now, your leadership is showing even in the silence. You might think nothing's happening because she hasn't said anything. But I promise you, brothers, she notices everything. When you stop interrupting and start listening, she sees it. When you ask how her day was and don't turn it into a complaint about yours, it registers with her. And when you hold your ground without anger, without begging, without manipulation, her nervous system starts to calm down. You are leading. That is leadership. And you're leading her emotionally, her emotional reality, even if she doesn't acknowledge it yet. So show her that she's safe through tone, through patience, through quiet strength. Let her feel in her soul that you are not a storm to brace for anymore. You are shelter now. And if you listen to the previous episode, you know you are the lighthouse. Point number 3, get around men who get it. You cannot walk this path alone. Trying to save your marriage in isolation is like trying to climb Everest without oxygen or a guide. You need men in your corner who aren't going to tell you to bail. You need brothers who've been in the trenches and stayed. It's exactly why I tell you at the beginning of every episode, I am in the ring with you. I am fighting for you, not against you, but for you to save your marriage. So let me challenge you on this. Where are you getting your input? If it's social media, if it's friends that are venting about their marriages or their relationships, or coworkers who mock commitment, you are sabotaging yourself. You need a different circle, one that holds the standard, one that speaks truth, one that calls you higher when you want to fold. Surround yourself with men who make perseverance normal and let iron sharpen iron. Because when you see other men staying strong, even when it's hard, it reinforces your own resolve. And I want you to start living with legacy in mind. Let's take this even deeper. What kind of story are you writing right now? Because the man who quits becomes a warning. The man who stays becomes an example. Your kids will either say, my dad gave up when things got hard, or my dad didn't flinch. He stayed, he grew, he fought for mom and for us. And that legacy, gentlemen, is being written with every choice you make. Every day you choose patience over pressure, presence over pride, and perseverance over panic, you are building something eternal. You are showing the next generation what real strength looks like. So live today with your grandchildren's admiration in mind. Let that anchor you when the emotions swirl. And listen, I know this season is painful. It's not flashy, it's not celebrated, and it's not easy. But it is holy work. You are being forged in the fire of slow, consistent love. Not for rewards, not for praise, but because you've decided to become the kind of man who leads, protects, and finishes what he starts. And let me remind you, excuse me, she's not testing you to be cruel. She's testing because she hopes you're real. Her silence isn't rejection, it's protection. Your consistency isn't changing the atmosphere. Your consistency is changing the atmosphere, even if the scoreboard hasn't moved yet. So stay faithful, stay grounded, stay dangerous in the best possible way. Now, I told you to get around men who get it. And if you don't have anything like that in your life right now, then I want you to go to mensaveyourmarriage.com. There are some options there where you can, there are some free downloads, there's some tools available to you. And next week, in the next coming series of episodes, I'm going to be releasing some tools to help you fight this battle. So go now, take advantage of what's available to you here where you know, and the voice you're hearing in me is the voice that has curated this website so that I know you're getting what you need for your marriage. And as a final thought, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I lead based on results or based on who I've decided to become? If you're ready to be that man, then stay steady. Don't flinch. Don't chase. Don't quit. And if this episode landed for you, share it with a man who's on the verge of giving up. He needs this information too. He needs this truth. Then I want you to leave a review and subscribe wherever you get your podcast episodes from, because this movement isn't for dabblers. It's for men who finish what they start. That, gentlemen, is you. Finally, as a final thought, she's not looking for a perfect man. She's looking for one who doesn't disappear when the applause doesn't come. That's it for this episode on Perseverance, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you in episode number 41. In the meantime, I want you to go out there and have a great day and continue to persevere as you fight for your marriage. Take care.